Good to see you all.
Hi, good to see you.
Just a reminder, training will start outside pretty much as soon as we're done here, so I'll ask you all to leave, please. Thank you.
Very, very secret, Rory.
See you again.
Good to see you.
Ian, do you need stuff under embargo? You doing Saturday, Sunday? Game Sunday.
Yeah, we got these up for Sunday.
Sunday. Okay, we'll just do one embargo section. No, it's fine. Yeah, cool.
Don't worry, I do the same. I do the same all the time. Lose track of time.
Good to see you all. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming. We'll start off with Jeremy from Sky, Sam from PLP, Phil from the BBC. We can carry on under immediate embargo at that point. We will do an embargo section for the Sunday papers at the end, so that embargo will be 10:30 p.m. Saturday. Camera can keep running as long as the embargo is noted and respected. Camera's happy? Jeremy?
Thomas, we just heard actually in the last few seconds, Kevin De Bruyne has announced he's leaving Manchester City at the end of the season, one of the great Premier League players of recent years. What's your reaction to that?
A little bit shocked. Probably is the right way to say it, but probably not a surprise. I think I heard also he was out of contract in the end of the season. But can only praise him. One of the best midfielders in the Premier League ever. You guys know that bit. Oh, there's a few good ones, huh? There's a few good ones. But let's say the more offensive central midfielders, let's say Lampard, Gerrard, of course iconic England ones in the centre of the pitch. Beckham, of course, but played a little bit more to the right. I think De Bruyne is up there. He's up there. And the good thing is I don't need to use too much time on it. There will be several so-called experts that will dissecate this and go into detail who was the best one ever. But I think he is a top player, almost complete player in many ways, and I think he's been crucial for Man City's success the last years.
What's the illness and the injury update after Newcastle? Any fresh issues?
Everyone from the game is fine. Everyone from the game is fine. The three boys played the B team games, the same message as last time. They are, good, in a good place. Matty is fine, training well, and we're about to train in a few minutes. So he could be available for Sunday.
And what about Rico Henry? He's been out so long. Is he going to be in the squad this weekend?
There's a good chance. Of course, need to take a decision tomorrow, but there's a good chance. He's the one who is the furthest not away. The closest. Oh, it's the other way around. The closest of the three that played the B team game the other day to be involved, and it might be.
He's played so little football. He's been out so long. He must be chanting to play again.
Yeah. He badly wants to play, of course. And Rico Henry at his best, we really would like in the team.
You made, though, Keane Lewis pass to your left back, and he's done so well that he's going to take some shifting, isn't he? So, will he go back to being a left winger again, or what's going to happen?
I've learned in football that's definitely a bit out there in the future. Right now, I'm very happy with Keane as a left back. I think he's been one of our most reliable players this season. I think he's done fantastic. So I think also it's fair to say that Rico needs to hit his best, and it's good with competition. If Rico hits his best, then maybe Rico will come in at one stage. That could be this season, that could be next season, and then Keane will be a winger again. But right now, Keane has done fantastic.
Will Rico be as good as he was before?
That we don't know, of course, but I believe he will.
What about beating Chelsea? You've had some great games at the Bridge, but you've not knocked them over at home yet in the Premier League. Are you ready to do that for Sunday?
Hopefully. At least one of you guys will ask about the home form. That was unbelievable in the beginning of the season and not as good recently. But as I said, the performances has been good. Been pleased with them. We just, for whatever reason, couldn't turn it into wins. We are facing a very strong Chelsea team that after a strong start to the season had a little bit of a dip for whatever reason. I'm not expert on Chelsea. Also had a few injuries. Watched them last night. They look strong, look good. All their more or less key players available. So it's a fully firing Chelsea team we are facing, and they need the Champions League spot. I think it's fair to say that they are under pressure. I'm not trying to play any games here, but they need the Champions League spot, and they need to win against us. We want it as high as possible. We want to get a home win. We believe in ourselves. I think we are in a very good place. I think we performed good against Newcastle. I think we should have got something out of the game. I think any other game we could have easily have won it. And I think it was a very good away performance against a good team. So I really hope that the fans will come out and enjoy the sunshine on Sunday and push us forward. And we hope we'll watch a top game against two good teams and hopefully we'll win.
And because you mentioned the home form, you've not won at the G-Tech in nearly 5 months. I know you've been involved in some epic games, but home fans want to see you win again now.
Oh, 100%, and that need to be. We need to do it together. I say that the whole time. Togetherness is probably our biggest value in the club, across the squad, staff, fans, directors, everything. So a perfect performance on the pitch and a perfect performance in the stands could maybe and hopefully get us over the line.
Can you still make Europe?
Very good question. I'm just focused on the next game.
Just a couple of final points. We spoke to Nathan Collins. He has played every minute of every Premier League game so far this season. He credits you with improving his concentration. He's been an absolute monster for you at the back. How good a player is he?
Very good. I actually praised him myself straight after the game against Newcastle, and again this morning I felt that was a very mature performance at a very difficult place, very composed on the ball, strong in the duels, defended well, communicating. He's really growing, and I agree. I think he's really improved this season. That's down to him. A big praise on that. There's a lot of small details we've tried to put into place. I know that Klaus Nørgaard and Kevin O'Connor is working a lot and hard with him and all the defensive players on defensive principles. Small bits like pumping, duels, how to defend the box. They do that very, very good. But the one bit on the concentration bit is the bit the best players in the world. Their focus is like unbelievable laser focus throughout the game, and I think he's getting there in terms with the focus.
And just finally on Ben Mee and Josh Silva, they're out of contract soon. Ben's hardly played. Josh hasn't played. Will they get new deals?
That's something we are looking into, of course, here in the end of the season. What we'll do with the different players. So we're looking into it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Hi Thomas, good to see you. A little bit of talk there about players coming back and fighting for their position. For you, is that one of the best problems to have as a manager? Is it something that maybe keeps you awake at night?
Oh yeah, that's the worst thing as a football manager is that you can only play 11 players because you got 25 that you wanna show that you trust, but they don't really believe that you trust them before they play. So you just want to be a good guy, but of course you pick the team that I believe is the best team and I believe can win the matches, and I do the substitution that can win the matches because first and foremost I want to win. I want to put the best team out there that I believe in is the best team. But it would be very, very, very nice to have that problem. I think it's fair to say the last 2 seasons I haven't had many of those nights where it was difficult to pick a team.
So on that basis, is explaining to the players why they're not playing as much as part of the job for you as the players that are?
Yeah, and I think it's definitely. But sometimes you can over-explaining because, if you drop a player, they're not listening in the moment, they're disappointed, they disagree, they're angry, and I think you are all sorts of things, which is fair. That's part of the job. But I think it's important to give them some key areas to work on. So sometimes it can just be tactical. Sometimes it can just be, one freshen of the team. Sometimes it can be just got a better feeling of a player. Sometimes a different type. And sometimes it can also just be performance over time. and that's where you need to give them something they can work on, because nothing worse than you don't know what to work on. So maybe they need to train better. Maybe it's the concentration. Maybe it's aggressivity. Maybe it's playing more forward. Maybe, you know. So I think that's important.
You said you watched the game last night, obviously midweek Premier League game live on TV. Are you watching it as a football fan, or are you watching it at home as a football coach? What do you like to watch a game with, I guess?
First and foremost, you need to speak to the wife. What are we watching on the telly? So that's a little bit of a challenge. But so I had a good argument this time because we were facing Chelsea on Sunday. So I won that argument. Now, jokes aside, that game I watched closely because we were facing Chelsea on Sunday. So I could get a little bit ahead of the curve with some of the preparation. But when was it, Tuesday? I sent a picture in the coaches group. I had 2 games on. So I had the Arsenal Fulham on the laptop, and then I had Man United Nottingham on the big screen. I am a football fan, so it's always a little bit as a football fan. But I think that's just to get into a few bits, details, preparation, all that.
I know the feeling, by the way, about explaining.
Yeah, exactly. And normally I lose that battle. Okay.
Chelsea have only conceded 2 goals in the last 6 games, so
I didn't know that actually.
In all competitions,
yeah.
I believe. I hope I'm around that. Is patience the key in this one?
I think it's fair to say that we are playing home. We believe a lot in ourselves. Massive belief we can beat Chelsea. They are favourites to win the game on Sunday. It'll be an even game that I'm convinced that we can win. So patience is more a word. How can you say? If you know you will have 60% of the ball and you are clearly the better team. I think it'll be even competition. So I think it's more about. I hate to say that you take your chances because every game you want to take your chances. But we have the quality on the day, and we of course highlight 2 or 3 areas where we think, okay, this is where and how we can score, which of course I would not talk about now.
When you have all or the majority of your players back fit, do you feel like the sky is the limit with this team? Because there is a real underlying sense. I've just spoke to King Lewis Potter and Nathan Collins before. There is a real underlying sense of confidence here. Is that what you see?
We got a big belief. I think it's if you don't dream, it's impossible to achieve anything big. So you need to dream. You need to believe that you can do something. You need to believe you can beat better teams. You need to believe that you are as good as the others. But I always say that one-liner attitude that is confident but humble. So we need to be confident and trust ourselves, but unbelievable humble. That we need to put the hard work in and the hard hours and all that. But with a fully fit squad, I believe there is much more to build and add layers in this club.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
When Jeremy started asking about De Bruyne, I thought maybe he was going to suggest.
Sorry?
When Jeremy started talking about Kayode De Bruyne, I thought we were going to go down the line of, could we see him here and something.
Oh, you never know. I haven't thought about that. Put a note on that. I'll call Phil. Yeah, I'll call Phil, yeah.
Just in regards to that very quickly, obviously there's a whole structure here and like all football clubs when it comes to preparation, but I know that you will always guard against resting on your laurels, against complacency. How far down the line is the planning for next season as to the shape of the squad?
That started 1st of Feb, or when did the window close? 1st of Feb. We had a recruitment meeting yesterday, Lee, Phil and I. So yeah, we are definitely on it. Yeah.
And in regards to Rico, obviously, you want to see him back. The fans want to see him back. Do you think Thomas Tuchel want to see him back as well from an England option moving forward? And is that something that you would encourage Rico to focus on moving forward, to say, look, ambitions with Brentford, but also international ambitions is still a possibility?
Definitely, I think it's important to have ambitions. I think first for him is to get fully fit. He's fit, but up to that 90 minutes match fitness. And when you have that and play and perform, then I will definitely speak to him about it. Or I think he hopefully got that ambition himself. I'm sure he got that.
Realistically, that will be the summer. He'll use the summer's going to be very important.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, we'll get minutes and start before the end of the season, and that it will put him in a top place, and his summer will be harder than some of the others. I could imagine he wants to push himself to come back flying for next season.
I know you probably tell me that it's the next game you're focusing on, but the run into the season, regardless of whether it's European qualification or whatever, what are your targets? What are your aims for the remaining chunk of games as far as, where that would leave you feeling satisfied and happy?
Good question. We spoke about it before every season. Before we start, can we tick the minimum criteria? Not there's one more year in the Premier League. Not that, because you never know what. This is so difficult. It's such a relentless competitive league, the best in the world. But of course we dream and want more. But I just look at the other teams and the squads, and if you rate them, you think, oh, quite good. But also we think we're good. So now we are here, a bit down the line. There is definitely opportunities to go a little bit higher, but also see there's a few behind. So it's like you're running, the one who's running, but you're like, I keep running very fast, and so I need to keep the pace up to keep them behind me, and I need to see if I have enough energy and power and freshness to chase the one in front of me or the one in front of us. So we really want to end as high as possible. We're definitely not easing off. But to see how high we can be, I'd like to get a few more points before I maybe make a dream target.
You mentioned home form and how difficult, because the pressure is on Chelsea, maybe because they're feeling, as they realised during the middle of the week, they slipped out the top four, back into the top four. They know they've got a battle. The home form is strange. How important is it though to still, even though it's been 4 months or whatever, to have that belief that you can go out onto the pitch at the GTEC and get a win as a group?
No, I think it's extremely important. I think we had that 3 games against Arsenal, City and Liverpool, where all 3 could have sure gotten more than just 1 point. I think the Tottenham game was a game that we clearly dominated and 100% should have got more out of. Everton leading, and don't finish it off. And then, of course, I had the 3 1-1s with Marc. So I think we are getting very close. And who was the latest one? Was it Everton? Villa. And Villa is another game where we did more than enough. So I think it's a little bit our season, even though we've done very well. There's been these 4 or 5 games, Newcastle, where the season where we finished 9th and were very close to Europe, those games tipped our way. So can we get them tipped our way the last 8? Who knows? Yeah.
And finally, small margins. People talk about set-piece coaches as being small margins. It's first season for Keith. Can I ask you how creative, how much freedom you give, or within the coaching scenario Keith has, how much freedom he has to be creative with what he's done? Because obviously we've seen throw-ins lead to goals. I think it's been a great stat for Brentford over the last few years. The kick-off scenario, which happened earlier in the season. What sort of creativity does he bring to the role?
I think a couple of things. He's responsible for it. And he does all the thinking, preparation, everything. Of course, because I've been here for 8 years and got the set piece culture and focus under my skin. I ask questions once in a while. That's also my job, no matter which of the coaches it is in the coaching staff that I either want to push or want more from or whatever. So he's 100% responsibility. He's done very well, I think, especially the set piece. The kickoffs is something we add. Then of course he's coming into a club that is very good on set pieces. So the long throws, for example, he's keep building on it, or how can you say, kept a high standard that can be as difficult just to add more. So in general it's good, and he's doing well.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Who'd like to go next before we go under embargo? Sam?
Yeah.
And then we'll go to Jack.
Just want to start with Damsgaard. Obviously, he was on the bench. Is he all right?
Yeah, he's all right. I don't think it's any secret he will start on Sunday. Yeah.
And then I want to talk about Michael Kayode. Obviously, you said it would take some time. He's then spent a little bit of time out with injury. He's now back. I wanted to know, how have you assessed his time so far at the club?
Good. I'm very, not irritated, not the right word, but a little bit that he got that minor injury that just kept him, a little setback, because I felt he came on against, who was it? Who was it? That Villa? No, Spurs, I can't remember. Anyway, Everton, I think it was. But I think he's done well. So that he got 10, 15 minutes. Then you would got the 10, 15, maybe then a start. Then so I think he is on track to do more. So far, fine, happy.
And you speak about the importance of sort of the defensive principles and how players need to adapt to that. How's he managed that?
I think he's well coached from Italy. I think the general feeling is, if you come from Italy and you've been well coached, or you should have been well coached, it's definitely in the defensive principles, and he reads those situations well. That's down to how he reads the game, but also what kind of principle, because not like in Italy they have these principles and we have these principles. As they're probably inside a fine bracket or area. So he's done that well.
And obviously sort of heading into the back end of this season, how likely is he to be involved? We're looking at sort of starts and things like that.
All down to performances from him and the other fullbacks. I think it's fair to say now Rico's coming back and others, and so and I played Sepp and Christopher and Keane and Rico. So there's competition, but he's definitely in the mix to compete for starting positions.
And I think you said it, but also Phil said it as well. This is sort of a move with a view to the future. Obviously, he's on loan now. You've previously said these sort of loan periods are a good time to assess whether a player will be a good fit. I wondered whether you'd come to an assessment of that.
I think he is a good fit. Whether we take a decision in the summer or not, that's I think, what is it, start of April? So we got 8 games to play. So that will be a decision that will be taken after the season.
And what sort of things do you look at when you're making that decision?
That's various things. That first and foremost, his character, how he fits the culture. I think if it doesn't fit that, out of the question. But here he's been top character, train well, train hard, blended in well with the boys, really like that. And then of course how he trains, that part of the culture as well. Train hard as you want to develop, you want to improve to the next level, also very good. And then of course the performances, how much can he give, what is the potential, and all that.
And you talk about that character. Obviously I think you're saying he's sort of learning English, he's a young guy. How has he adapted to life in England, life at Brentford?
Good, I would say. Adapted well, spoke okay English when he came, and improved it well, so he's an intelligent boy.
Yeah, brilliant, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Jack. Hi, Thomas.
Hi, Jack.
So, when you played Chelsea earlier in the season, after the game, you were very critical of Marc Cucurella's antics right at the end. I was just intrigued. Where do you think the line stands between borderline clever game management and just outright foul play?
That's a good question. I think we all want our players and our teams to be good at game management at times. So will I. So I would say that to my players. I said it before with Cucurella. I think he's a very good player. I think he's been through a massive not improvement. What do you call it? But he's performed so well since he came to England, to Brighton, and then to Chelsea, and he's now playing also for the national team and doing fantastic. So I think he's been one of the best, I would say, left backs in the league. There's just some things that trick you as a person, and I think that particular situation it's just not for me, and that's why I reacted.
Okay, I was reading an article from Opta, which was published in January. It was highlighting how Brentford are the 3rd slowest team in the Premier League to restart play and the 2nd slowest to take corners. Is there an element of game management in that, or is there a bigger picture at play?
No, bigger picture. We make it very clear to everyone that all our set pieces take the same amount of time, win, draw, lose. So you can do a nice stat on that, and I hope it's still the same. It was definitely the same last season, beginning of the season. So it should be like that. And then they maybe do a stat on other teams, how their average time is on set pieces, win, draw, and losing. I think they're very different.
Okay, I just wanted to mention this out of pure intrigue. So I noted it down when I watched the Brighton game earlier in the season. Brentford, typically what you do is you'll go to take a short throw in and then decide you want to take a long throw in. I noticed Kevin Schade went to go take a long throw in, but he stepped a couple of yards away from the line, and you now instructed him to go towards the line and then take this couple of steps back. Is there something in that, or I'm just looking too much into it?
No, there's something in there. It's the triggers around, and I think if they're good at analysing, they'll see the different triggers we do if you want to go short or long.
Okay. And finally, from me, I was just looking into it. Brentford have only received just 3 bookings for time wasting this season. In fact, you've got the lowest amount of bookings in the Premier League this season. How do you go about instilling that discipline?
I think generally we've got disciplined players. I also think that sometimes we could game manage game management a little bit better at times, and maybe sometimes it's just too nice.
Brilliant, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Anything else? Right, we'll go under embargo then. So if Ian, if you